Hello, and we are straight into the bans here because we're pretty tight turnaround there, trying to catch up on some time. Banning for the red team, we have Starfleet Commander for Volta, and the other team will be Hoodie Mafia on the blue side. Volta just taking a few seconds here to consider its options before we go to the pick and ban.
Yeah, the other team is currently the top team in the table, I believe. Well, maybe not right now, but they were from the previous day. Although they did play two more games than both Johnny and Volta, which are the teams that are in the running for second, third, or first place. Volta definitely want to take a win against the other team here. That would definitely secure them, a first or second place victory to win as much of the skins as possible.
Yeah, just waiting for the captains to wait up here. Seems like they haven't both hit accept on their link. So actually just trying to wake them up, make sure they're ready for some bans. We've added a mechanic in now so that it doesn't automatically start. Both captains have to press the ready button. So we're just making sure that's about to start soon. So yeah, I'll just go back quickly to so Volta lost their previous match. Tipped to do really well. But they've lost with a Typhoon pick. I don't think we'll see the Typhoon again from them. I think that was possibly a little bit of overconfidence in the Typhoon's abilities. And the other team, they did really well in the first show, and they had an all Caldari setup, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with here.
Yeah, I believe the other team were red last time, so it'd be interesting to see what they can put out on the other typically armor blue team.
Real quick there, chaps, I'm going to step in. The tool seems to have crapped out a little bit, and we're going to do a quick reset. Both teams will be given about 30 seconds for the next session to start. So if you two can continue on perhaps the stats of their previous matches, we'll have this on the go very, very shortly.
Yeah, I can look at the previous matches, but before I do that, Elinari Rodan, who's been on comms here, and she's been in the arena, and she's also watching the picks and bans. She's recording all of the statistics on one lovely championship master sheet. Just looking at it currently, Team Johnny is actually sitting at the top of the table. So probably the team with the least tournament experience here, sitting at the top of the major leagues with 3 straight wins, 45 points in total. And only the other team and Volta can catch them up. Other team Volta have they've won one. Sorry, the other team has won two rather, and dominated one. And Volta have played two, of which one they dominated and one they lost. So this is going to be a really, really important match. Other team versus Volta. If other team win, then they'll jump ahead of Johnny and move to the top of the table. If Volta win, the same. So whoever loses here will stay in third place, and the winner will jump up. Unless it's a draw, in which case Team Johnny will be very happy. So we're just loading up another a link for the pick and ban tool. It's all an online thing, and sometimes browsers and things do funny things to it. Generally speaking, though, we've ironed out all the problems, which is super nice. Though I see that it is starting in 4 seconds, so hopefully it works this time. Okay, so we see the first ban come in there from Volta. They've banned the Oracle. Oracle is a super popular ship, obviously, as discussed previously. They probably Volta are banning that out because it's probably the strongest armor battle cruiser. The other team responding, knowing that red is probably going to go shield. That's generally the meta that's been developing. Other team have banned out Raven.
Yeah, if we're going to see the Augur ban here, if they want to go for the Excura, or vice versa, if they want to pick up the Augur, which does have a better success rate, and they're going for the Excura.
Yeah, probably going to go for the Executor here, which makes me a little bit worried for the other teams. The Executor has not been very successful yet. They might throw us off and go for Caracal or something interesting. Volta, so the picks and bans here coming pretty fast. Both captains obviously have a plan. Volta going for that key vigil ship, support ship there, with its painter ability and its kind of like hero web. Let's see where the other team goes. I'm really interested to see where Hoodie goes with this.
I think we'll probably see the Punisher or maybe the Tristan as the two most popular choices. Yep, there we go. The Punisher, I think by far the most popular Punisher, straight into the Algus. The
Yeah,
Algus, of course, the most popular Destroyer.
yeah, definitely very meta support picks here coming in. I predict that Volta will probably pick the Talvar as well. There we go, there it is locked in. And straight into the Cruiser pick ban. Other team option has to be Executor here, really, with that Punisher Algos pick. Although they could throw as a curveball and go with the Blackbird or the Caracal. Hoodie just pausing to consider this, making sure he does actually want, he does, feel confident with his pick. I'm really interested to see where this is going to go.
I think he's probably going to go for the extra. I think the Blackbird is a bad pick against this double Mimitar team. They can just go all Mimitar, and then the Blackbird, which has 4 racials, only 1 Mimitar jam, is going to have a very hard time. Oh, Volta going for the Osprey this time, which is kind of interesting because they've preferred the kiting ability of the Scythe in previous games. I guess maybe they're going for more of a brawling battlecruiser battleship pick. We're going to see the Drake and the Rogue or the Drake and the Tempest.
Yeah, possibly. Although they used Raven with their Osprey Tower Vigil setup before, but that is off the table now. Tempest here, smart move by Hoodie, I think, to ban that out, which kind of probably means that Volta will end up going with Rook. Yeah, pretty predictable APOC ban there from Volta, making sure that those pulse lasers can't hit out to that Osprey, as it's a fairly slow-moving logistics ship. It dies pretty fast to pulse lasers. Other team Harbinger's open here, possibly a good choice, or maybe this goes something a bit more support role.
Yeah, I think Harbinger is probably the most logical choice. It has a pretty decent drone bay. Yep, there it is.
Pretty straightforward. And we'll see what Volta are going to choose in return. They've gone for the Drake, so they are going for a brawling shield set, which is great to see because they've gone for Hurricane previously twice. They're switching up now and going for the Drake with its huge shield tanky HP. It's got hand missiles, it's got a missile computer in there, so it can apply reasonably well to cruisers and certainly above. They've gone for the Rogue as well, so we're gonna hopefully see here a straight out brawl.
Yeah, the Drake and the Rook are hopefully just going to be able to get in there, get on top of the Harbinger. The weakness of the Punisher and Algus is they're not really that great at screening stuff, especially this Drake and Rook can definitely probably punch through the extra reps if they find themselves screening too aggressively. Armageddon picked up for Hody. I think the Armageddon's a really decent choice here. The cruise missile's going to shoot the Osprey. The heavy newts, bonus heavy newts are going to be good at screening off maybe that Drake, which has capacitor problems. Or maybe put some pressure on the Rogue.
Yeah, the Rogue obviously having blasters as its DPS. It has got a cap booster, but it's going to be it's going to need the cap for its invul, its tank, and its DPS. So an Armageddon, a pretty good pick, I think. Chesso was trashing the Armageddon as a pick last week, but I think in this scenario it's a pretty good idea. With the Armageddon actually having a web of fire as well means that I think we'll see the core DPS ships here, the Harbinger, Armageddon, Drake, Rogue, actually trying to screen each other and stop each other trying to get into the optimal of each other's logistic ships. It should be quite interesting in this match. We'll see who goes. This will be interesting in terms of the table. Who wins this match? I think it will be quite a tense one. Both teams got good pilots. They know what they're doing, and this is a fairly balanced set of setups, I think. Let's see what the other commentators think.
Thank you very much there, guys. Yeah, I think, personally, I think we're getting to a point in the tournament where it becomes really interesting in terms of how many matches are left for certain teams. So, for example, these teams, both Volta and the other team, they've played 2 matches so far. And the other team has a very good chance by winning here to take a nice, solid position as first, whilst a loss and a Volta win would basically drop them to 3rd place and boosts Volta to 2nd. So we'll see how that develops in a little bit, and obviously would make the final weekend very interesting as well. Quick shout out to our sponsors while I have the opportunity. Plantronics have been very, very helpful and donated some amazing headsets, which are sitting in my office right here, ready to be sent out. We've got some amazing Rig 500s, and for the finals we'll be giving away a Rig 500E as well, which is about $80 or $90 or so it's amazing. Also want to give a quick shout out to our support and sponsors CCP, who obviously provided us with the skins and all the support on the tournament server. But other than that, let's talk about some more esports. I'm going to throw it to the commentators and see what they think of these picks and bans. I'm going to start with Rain on this one. What do you think of the Volta team?
So I think they have obviously picked a pretty solid setup. I think someone was mentioning how the Drake and the Rook have always won in the past. Doesn't really lose. Obviously they have the Logi there and the Vigil for the target painters. I find that really interesting, especially with the other team where they kind of went with what looks like a traditional armor setup with the Execure and the Harbinger, but then they picked the Armageddon for the E-War instead of say something like an Abaddon.
Sure. So obviously, as a Logi pilot yourself, and looking at these bands as they come in, would you have picked the Osprey here as Volta, or would you have perhaps chosen this side?
So I like the Osprey because it has like the self rep as well as the cat booster, but it also makes me really nervous because it only has an afterburner. It doesn't have a micro warp drive. We've seen in the past where obviously a scythe can't rep itself when it's taking damage, so it only really has a buffer. But we have seen it do some pretty elite plays where if micro warp driving away from an enemy and like kind of like say orbiting an Abaddon at close range to avoid any DPS and mitigate that. So I think Osprey's like a good choice, and it just makes me nervous because it's afterburning.
Absolutely. Madden, what feedback would you give on the other team's picks and bans so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really strong from both sides, other teams as well as Volta. Basically, you know, they know they're going to go armor. It was kind of decided from the first ban, and they just picked a very strong kind of classical armor setup. I think Harbinger, Algos, Execute Punisher, I don't think there's really any questions there. There's a little bit of a thought process, and when you're choosing that Armageddon, obviously we've seen a lot of different choices. You know, we've seen some Hyperions do some really amazing things. Obviously, the Dominix is a choice where we've had some strong success. I think the Armageddon's is probably more interesting because we haven't seen it today. So I'm always a fan of showing me something different. And I think these are two really great teams. So they know their stuff way better than I do. And it's going to be a good match to watch. The Newts are going to make a big difference against Arok, which is so reliant on Cap, as well as the Drake, which essentially is, you know, right on the cusp, even though it is a missile-based ship. So I'll be very curious to see what that turns into, whether the difference maker is in fact those newts, or the difference maker is essentially how fast and quickly these teams can get their damage application, whether they go for Logi or whether they just try and break through the reps themselves.
Absolutely. And as you explained earlier, you're a big fan of the Drake, so I'm sure you're happy to see it again in this match. What, other than obviously it's being an iconic hull, what can you tell me about the fittings on this in this particular tournament and why it's been so effective?
Well, I mean, its tank is, I think, one of the primary reasons. You know, when people are looking at different ships, you've seen it a lot of times when they don't actually have Logi, you can still bring a Drake and it's still effective because it is just such a naturally strong and tanky ship. It's got heavy assault missile launchers, which are really, really good, high DPS, good applicability. That's a nice bonus. It's also got enough mids that we threw in a stasis web, so you've got great damage with your ballistic controls, heavy assault missiles, strong application because it's heavy assaults, plus a web because it means you're going to be able to slow them down. Throw a missile guidance computer in there, which means increased range. Plus, as the need arises, even better applicability, strong resist profile, relatively fast with the micro warp drive on there. We plugged the hole. Like it's like across the board. It's a solid Drake fit. It's kind of a standard choice in Eve, at least in Eve of old, and it works well in the format that we provided, where you have interesting bands that can kind of counter the more classical ships. You know, you don't always see oracles because a lot of teams know about the oracle and they ban it. So the Drake is maybe a little bit less risky. People are less afraid of it, so they won't ban it like they will ban a Raven. You see a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a fun ship to fly. It's a strong ship for a variety of reasons, and I'm excited to see it come out to play.
Excellent, very, very good. Suetonia, while we still have you here as well, let's have a quick chat about the captains of these teams. Obviously, with you being involved in esports for as long as you have and having flown with many of these guys, out of the captains of these two teams, who would you say has the best shot at winning, if you dare say so? So we have Hoodie Mafia on the other team as a captain, and Starfleet Commander with his buddy Theron Valorax on the Volta side.
Oh man, both captains have a very good tournament pedigree. Hoodie Mafia was on the I think Hard Knocks team for the previous Event Collides, and he did very well. I believe they came second place. And
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Starfleet Commander has been the team captain of very successful Alliance tournament teams. We form Voltron, and I'm not sure what I think Verge of Collapse as well. Verge of Collapse
Yeah,
for
that's the one I was trying to remember, really.
yeah, with Fatian 8010. They won 8010, they came third place 8014, and Starfleet Commanders captained the Triumvirate team to very successful positions, top 8 usually. So
Very
I
good.
don't know, it's hard to say who's going to. I'll go with Starfleet Commander.
Sure. Have you flown against Starfleet Commander in Alliance tournaments?
Yeah, I have on the Hydra Reloaded team.
Cool. Perfect. I just checked the chats there. We see that the teams are going to be landing very, very shortly. So let's go with a quick prediction on this match. Let's start with the the top of the channel here. BayRJ. Short, brief description. Who's going to win this?
I don't want to bet against against Volta here because Executor really just has not been doing well for whatever reason. I can't figure out why, but it keeps losing matches. So I'm going to go for Volta, but they did bring a Vigil. I think where Merlin would have been much better. Vigil's going to be kind of useless with those 2 DPS ships, I think, possibly. So yeah, it's really close to call. It's really, really close. I think it's all going to come down to piloting, and I think the Volta will take it, but it'll be very close.
Okay, I'm going to skip myself. I'll get back to myself. Rain Chocolate. Who's going to win this?
I'm a fan of Volta. I like the shield setup. Plus, I know pilots on both teams, but I still like the shield setup.
Right on. In one word, Madden
I'm gonna go Volta.
and Suetonia.
I'm gonna go Volta too.
Because you're all saying Volta, I'm going to go with my gut feeling and statistics, and I'm going to say the other team. So it's a 4 against 1. I'm going to win this one, as usual, as I like my odds. We're going to take you to the booth, to the one and only Rain Chocolate and Madden Canrandy.
I'm Rain, and I'm joined by Madden. I'll be introducing the Volta team. They brought a Rook and a Drake, which they've brought in at 30, and then they have an Osprey, a Talwar, and a Vigil, which they brought at 50.
And on the other side of the field, we've got the other team here with their Armageddon, Harbinger, Executor, Algos, Punisher, which they've brought in at a bit of a mixed range. You see the Punisher at 20, Vigil at 50, along with the Talwar and Executor, and then the Algos at 30. They're both teams are a nice little bit of a very wide V, we'll call it, which has put the Rogue, I think, in a pretty good position for what they're actually trying to do. I think they're going to be able to get on top of this team a little bit faster than they would like as we're about to get started.
Yeah, and likewise, the Armageddon will easily be able to reach the Volta team with his newts. Start cycling those as quickly as he can. Match has started. We have... So are we live? Alright, so we have armor maintenance bots already out and on the Algos and the Punisher. Obviously trying to keep those little frigates alive before the Executor can apply those reps.
Yes, and so we're seeing the Punisher taking damage, as I know we're having some technical difficulties. But we're seeing the Punisher taking damage for other team, while Volta's Drake is taking... But it is still early here, and they're still kind of figuring out what they want to do. You're seeing a lot of pressure being put onto this Punisher of Kellen Darklight. He's definitely struggling. He's got webs. He's got all the reps that the Executor put on him, but I'm not sure Kellen's going to be able to survive under what is essentially a crazy amount of damage from this Rogue and the rest of the team as he goes down.
Yeah, with that, he immediately went down. He held on for quite a while, but I don't think other team was able to take advantage of it. I mean, Starfleet Commander's just now taking damage in his Osprey.
Yeah, what's weird, and I think this is just a kind of an oddity of what we're looking at. We don't actually see the newts being applied consistently, but I'm very confident that newts are being applied from that Armageddon to something, either the Osprey, Drake, or Roke. Tough to say. Maybe I'll take a look as we're seeing this go on, but we're now seeing the Osprey take a lot of damage, and that suggests that something is going to be. He's either going to die or he's going to live, and the other team is going to essentially implode. But I think Starfleet Commander is not long for this world, given what's going on and how many reps he can actually take.
Yeah, they're now applying to him, although Volt is now primarying Hoodie Mafia and the Harbinger, though he just now hit armor. Obviously, with the Executor alive, he'll be able to survive a lot longer than whatever buffer he has. So this Osprey's still taking damage, but he does have rep bots on him, thankfully.
Yeah, he's got rep bots, he's got good self-tank, and he's, very good at holding his transversal, so obviously the Armageddon and the Harbinger, those missiles are not necessarily going to hit him as well as those lasers are going to have a little bit of trouble. So he's kind of essentially tanking pretty well with the Drake's help, and the Rogue's help, I should say. So that's interesting. They're also shooting the Drake, which I don't understand why you'd shoot the Drake right now. I don't think that's a good choice. I'm watching this Armageddon, trying to figure out his plan. I'm sure he's got one, and he's going after the Vigil, I think. He went around the entire backfield, and the Vigil just died. All right,
yeah,
that was his plan. He wanted the Vigil to die. I've been watching him this entire time, kind of going around the backfield. I didn't think he could just pop the Vigil, but he did. I think maybe the Osprey was too far away to save him, or it just happened too quickly. Talwar now may be next, because if you're watching this Armageddon, he has essentially found the backfield and said, "Ha ha, hello, this is me. I'm having fun." So I like watching this Armageddon guy. I think he's gonna potentially make this match. While the Harbinger is taking a lot of damage, they still have reps. They're gonna keep him going, and the Drake is in half shields. Maybe the Drake's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. This Harbinger is half armor, but he still has the Execure on him. Although the Execure has to be careful, because it seems like this Rogue and Drake are kind of pushing this Harbinger away, and so the Execure has to chase a little bit. So he has to keep the Harbinger within, obviously, his optimal, but he doesn't want to get too close.
Low armor. He may go down.
Yeah.
I think this is really interesting, especially for what's going on to Volta. The other team is trying to do the classic switching of targets to try and confuse and a little bit make it harder on Starfleet Commander. Yeah, well, as Starfleet Commander's getting shot too.
Yeah.
The Harbinger's definitely dead. There's nothing you can do with that. I think the Drake may or may not die now because I don't know if other team has the damage to keep it going down. While Starfleet Commander, I think, is overusing his reps as he's trying to keep the Drake alive and trying to watch this Armageddon.
So I don't believe it is showing up on the fancy UI screen. Oh, it is. Okay. So I was going to say, the Armageddon does have newts on this Osprey. And so the Osprey is able to use a self-rep because that doesn't take cap, but being able to rep this Drake actually does require a cap, so he has to manage his cap boosters and whatnot.
Yeah, he's definitely having to struggle, and that's definitely other teams' game right now, is essentially make Starfleet Commander work for it. And if there's any pilot who can take it, it is SFC, because he's well experienced and very, very good at this. But he is having to work extremely hard, as I think he just ran himself out of cap boosters. He has maybe 30 seconds left before the recharge, and I don't think he's going to make it. He had to keep that Drake alive. He had to watch his range. He had to do a lot of different things right there, and that was very, very challenging.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
he's going to die. That Armageddon is going to make this match. I think if other team's going to win, it's going to be because of that Armageddon pilot. Reload hit! He just finished the reload. He just got the reload off.
He might survive. I'm not quite sure.
The question is, can he survive long enough to get, or maybe? Oh no, he had one left. I think he had one left.
Okay, so while this Drake and Osprey have been dying, the Rogue and Drake haven't really been shooting anything from the other team. I'm not sure if they were being chasing and being kited by the Execure, or if they're just taking forever to get to the Armageddon.
Well, the Rogue is short range. I don't think the Rogue can hit anything. I think that's its problem.
What about the Drake though? The Drake can at least burn somewhere.
Maybe he burned out his guns. It's possible.
Oh, no, that would actually be terrible.
No, I think he's shooting the Armageddon, which that doesn't make any sense. He should not be shooting the Armageddon. He's not going to kill the Armageddon.
The Armageddon went in and out. He's immediately turning away and burning away. The Executor is just kind of off on his own, kind of being ignored, trying to catch up to this Armageddon.
The Executor should be off on his own, because if he gets caught for any reason, because Drake's got tackle, so that any reason the Executor gets caught, this match then swings heavily towards Volta. But right now, certainly other team has the advantage with their Logi and their battleship still in the field. I'd take Logic plus battleship over battlecruiser and a battleship.
Yeah, and the Armageddon's now neuting out the Rogue, which, I mean, you would kind of expect since it relies on that cap.
Yeah, I
Looks
think the
slowly-
Armageddon's gonna say, here's my newts, watch me roar. The Rogue's gonna say, damn it, and I don't see any way that Volta turns this around at this point. Just really great piloting from that Armageddon, essentially taking out the Vigil from the backfield, and then Starfleet Commander really putting on a great show. It was fun to watch, but not quite enough. As this Executor was just too far away, and Volta wasn't able to get to it and take advantage of the time that SFC gave them.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what these destroyers are doing either. It kind of looks
Well,
like the Algos is...
Algos is a drone boat to a large extent, so he's probably kind of essentially using his drones and ensuring he doesn't die. And the Tower has range, so he's going to stay far away. There's no real reason for him to get close to the match. They should be staying far away. They don't want to just get popped.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure, like, are they attempting to apply DPS? I don't think either of them have any sort of, like, tackle.
No, they don't. That's why I'm sure they're shooting the primary. You see the Drake is taking damage. You've got the Armageddon, he's gonna die. There's nothing that's gonna keep him alive at this point. It's just a matter of how long is it gonna take. And then once he goes down, the Rogue is probably so out of cap. He's just sitting there going, "This is not my finest hour." I don't see any way that Volta is gonna be able to essentially turn his guns back on. He may get a shot off, but I think that's about it. The Armageddon's heavy newts, not as important necessarily, but when you're up against the Rogue, they are a fantastic choice. Because it is very, very challenging to shoot things when you have no capacitor if you use blasters.
Oh,
Important
no.
note of EVE Online.
The Drake is now in structure too, and this Rogue is now burning for looks like this Executor. Although the Drake, I mean, I think he just has rep bots on the Rogue. Hasn't really done anything.
No,
He's
it
kinda
made
sat
a
there.
difference, but it didn't. It's not.
Towards the end, it seems like he, I don't know, burned that. Did he not have a prop mod? He just kind of sat there and died.
Well, prop mods are going to be off because of the Armageddon. He was probably splitting his newts and just making the Drake work too hard.
Oh boy.
Yeah, those newts are really, really effective. Armageddons, strong newting ships. You see Balgorns and Armageddons. Balgorns obviously more popular than the most recent Alliance tournament because it was the Blood Raider Alliance tournament.
Yep.
But all the same, I think the Armageddon is clearly making its well-known forces heard. It's got some powerful range and some powerfully strong newts. And the Rogue's guns are definitely off. And that Drake was not moving very fast. 1 minute left. I don't know if they're going to be able to even kill the Rogue with this amount of time left in the match. He's got some self-rep. Now the Executor is taking damage. Probably the Tower shooting him. But not enough. A little bit too late, unfortunately, here. But really, a great showing from Volta. They made a good match out of this. Some strong piloting from the other team, coming around from the backfield with Oneva. It just made the match. Piloting makes all the difference. 30 seconds to go.
Not really doing anything. He's able just to immediately rep back up.
No, he's just gonna stay alive. Minimize the point loss. This is essentially saying other team they're gonna put them right with Johnny at the top. Probably gonna decide the tournament right there. Either other team or Johnny is probably gonna win this thing. Volta's just gonna have to probably settle for third or fourth because of this loss. It's an unfortunate thing because it is such a strong team. But when you see two amazing teams up against each other, this is what you get. Volta going down today to the other team, and with that,
match has
bring it
been
back to the
called.
studio.
We'll send it back to the studio.